What is it like being married to a Jamaican? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, founder of Jamaicans.com. And today I talk to Baba, who is from Cameroon, and Elisia, who is from Jamaica. Welcome the Bouquets, who are going to tell us about their journey in marriage. Welcome, guys. How are you?
We're good. Thank you. Thank you for having us. I will say we've been a fan watching some of the Jamaicans telling their story, and we are very happy to share our story.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us, each of you, tell me a little bit about your background story, how you grew up, and where you're from. Obviously, we know where you're from, but tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, I will allow my wife to start.
All right. So I grew up in Montego Bay, Jamaica, a little community called Tucker, and then I moved to Cornwall Courts. During that time, I went to Mount Alvernia High School for girls, and then I went off to Michael Teachers College where I became a teacher. Worked in Jamaica for a little bit over 20 years, and then I migrated to the UAE. Basically, the main thing about us is that we're Christians. We're Seventh day Adventist Christians.
Okay, Baba.
Yes, sir.
Yes, tell us a little bit about your background.
This Cameroon man, actually, I am from Cameroon, from the southwest part of Cameroon. You know, Cameroon has the French and the English. So I am an English-speaking Cameroonian from southwest region in a small town called Tico that has a boundary with our economic capital. So I grew up in that little town, did my primary, my high school, and after that I went into the job market in agriculture, some of the state-owned agricultural industry, and then I started moving to our neighboring countries like Gabon and Congo. And in 2017, I guess, I moved to the UAE.
Awesome, awesome. I like how you both ended in the UAE because it goes right into the next question. Tell us your love story. How did you meet? What was the first date like? And what drew you to each other?
Shall I start?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. So, like I said, we're both Seventh day Adventists. So, we go to the same Adventist church. We've been going to the same church for 3 years. And in between, we've just been saying hi, hello, maybe a text message here and there. If I'm not at church, he'll WhatsApp me and say, I missed you this Sabbath or something like that. And I'll send him a message, but nothing further. And then last year, my father died, and I was sick during January, I think. And he started to, message me to say if I'm okay. Yeah, if he could take something over to give me. He did, the flu concoction, what we call it, the flu
The
bomb.
flu bomb, yeah.
Yes. And so when he came, he
So,
gave me, yes.
so the flu bomb now, you got to tell me about the Cameroon flu bomb. Is it different from the Jamaican flu bomb and what is in it?
Well, it's a bit similar. I guess it's a bit similar, but most of the ingredient or the main ingredients are cayenne pepper, dry cayenne, honey, ginger, and lemon
Okay.
mixed together. Yeah,
Warm, warm.
and then warm.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Elisa, I interrupted you there. Did you could pick up back from you got the flu bomb and did it work or it didn't work? And then how did the love story evolve from there?
So it worked. Well, I'm not even sure that it worked, but after that, I don't remember being sick after that. But he came. He not only did the. I took it upon myself to cook rice and peas because I don't know. I was sick and I tried to cook, and he sat at my home. My son was away for a little bit, so I told my son that I'm having a visitor. And so when my son came, he came in maybe after 10, and he was still there talking with me, talking with me. So after he left, I think maybe within the week, he invited me to exercise with him. And since then, we've been exercising together.
So the first, so are you saying the first date or Baba? You tell me, was that the first date, Baba?
Uh, Not really, because I came over as just to show some love, some care for my sister in Christ. And I was very confident that the concoction, the bomb, the flu bomb is going to work, since she was really suffering from flu. So I gave her over. I gave her the flu bomb, and she prepared some nice meal, Jamaican meal. And well, before I came, I was, I had some Cameroonian meal. I was really full. So I tried to have something, but it wasn't really going. But we sat there, we had some good time talking and talking. And after that, I think that's where the spark started, because when I left, I had to check on my patient. Are you okay? Should I bring something more? And I kept checking. And when she was, yeah, when she was feeling much better, I said, okay, what we have to do is we have to start exercising. When you exercise, you feel much better. So according to my mother-in-law, she said I ran the race and I won the prize. When we started running, I kept running.
But
Yeah.
our first date was Valentine's Day. So he said, I've not had a Valentine in a while, and I said, me too. And we didn't discuss it in detail, but apparently he went to one of these really, really nice restaurants, made reservation and everything. And I remember the evening he just told me to get ready by X time. And when we met each other, I saw him with a nice clean shave, a nice jacket at the top and jeans at the bottom, looking really cute and fresh. And I was like, oh! So when we went to the restaurant, and I'm a little bit bold. I think he's the more shy person when it doesn't matter. So when we went into the restaurant, I was about to say to the lady, "Can you please give us a table?" Not knowing that he had already done the arrangements, made reservations, had a private booth, because you have the open restaurant, but then you have sections that are private and closed off. That was all ready with rose and balloons
Candlelight.
and
The man have
I was
everything sorted. Him have everything sorted
sort
with.
out, sort out. Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, so tell me, what is your favorite thing about each other?
Hmm. You
I
want to
can,
start?
yeah. For me, I think he has a very calm spirit, but no matter what it is, I feel safe and confident with him. I feel protected, and the most important thing, if I'm worried about anything, I can always say, pray for me and pray with me, and I don't lose a breath, and he starts praying, and I think that is the most romantic, intimate thing ever.
Nice. Baba?
I would say, I don't know if it's a Jamaican thing with Jamaican women, but my many people look at my wife and they feel like she's a bit aggressive, and she's not a shy person. If she wants something, or if she needs to say something, it doesn't matter who stands on her way. And for me, I'm a little bit gentle and calm, like she said, and I think that's very nice for me to be like that compliment to make it complete. But like she said, she's a really, really good prayer partner, and trust me, I like that part so much, because even if we have differences, cultural differences, challenges, but at the end, we need to come together and we need to pray. So during that time, any other thing is taken care of.
Awesome.
I love it. Yeah.
Awesome. So you actually went right in. It's like you know exactly where I'm going, the direction, the cultural differences, right? How
Yeah.
did that play out in your relationship?
Ah,
I think if I should go ahead, I think, I don't know if I should say Jamaicans are a little bit like Cameroonians, or Cameroonians are just like Jamaicans in many ways. One of the things that is a little bit different is between Jamaicans and Cameroon. I think Jamaicans, they are a little bit upfront. than us Cameroonians. And the language, the Patois, even though I cannot fully understand it, if she's speaking to me in Patois, trust me, I can understand a little bit because we have what we call the Pidgin English, and most of the words are repeated
Okay.
in the Patois. Only that the Patois is a bit faster. Mostly when a Jamaican is talking to another Jamaican, that I cannot understand. But if she's talking to me slowly, I can try to understand
Right.
and can follow. Now, I think one of the biggest difference that I saw, which for me is a good thing, is when we were about to get married. Now, as an African, as a Cameroonian, before you get married to someone, there is a price you have to pay. You,
Oh,
you
oh,
must pay the price.
the dowry.
The dowry, you must pay the dowry. So it depends, the family, it depends because Cameroon is, we have different cultures in Cameroon. So different cultures, to some, it's really expensive. To some, it's a bit moderate, like in my culture. But depending on the culture, so you can pay and pay and pay and even get married, you still pay.
Wow.
So yeah, when I saw that this is the right track, this is the woman I want, I started asking the question, who do I talk to? Who is the one who is responsible to receive the payment? How much is involved? Am I ready? So I started asking those questions and she was like, you don't need to pay any money. You don't need any yeah. She was like, in our culture, no, you don't need to pay. And I was so surprised.
First he asked me, who do I need to speak with? Because I have a son, and he and I have been trotting together from when, and I know Baba would have thought about that, and he knows we're very close, and so when he sees him at church, he sees the closeness between us. So he knew that some conversation would have to happen with Carson. So he said, "Who next? Who else? Who do I need to talk with at home?" I said, "Well, my father just died, so I don't know. It's basically just informing my mother in a respectful way." Then he asked about my brother, and we made arrangements for him to talk with my brother. But then after a while, and I discovered that, boy, this is missing out on some good money. And who could I choose to collect this money? I said, you know what? I should really ask my son. His name is Carson, to tell Baba to pay Carson. And then we said we've never been to Jamaica since we got married, so we agreed that maybe when we're going, he will need to take something to my mother because I want to encourage him to keep his Africanness.
Okay. So they didn't want the goat or the cow or hey, a piece of land. That is fun. So on your side, Alicia, what did you find? How did cultural differences play a role? I mean, and that was one. Maybe that's the story, or there's something else.
Yeah, that was the biggest one. I agree with him, but I also noticed the way they speak, and I notice they're very genteel.
Cameroonians.
And I've seen the Cameroonian women and how they are so mild, and like if you blow, they'll fall over. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But I recognize that in the African culture, there's a lot of respect that goes to the man. And so it doesn't matter what field you're in or what profession you're in, when you are married to an African man, you have to be deliberate in your respect toward him. And you know how in Jamaica, we always, when you're talking to somebody officially, you talk to them in proper English. Well, when he's talking to me, sometimes I'm saying to him, no, 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 no. That's not the word. And he's saying to me, how you know that's not the word? You're colonized by the British. How do you know that this is? Because he'll say like Abraham and he'll say like Uman, and I'm like, that's one is not proper pronunciation and the other is like he's talking Jamaican patois. So sometimes how he sounds is like the language, there is some connection between how they speak and how we speak. So it's a difference, but it's also a similarity.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Is there a part of the Jamaican culture, Baba, that you absolutely love and embrace? And then the same question for you, Alicia. Is there, a part of the Cameroon culture that you absolutely just love and embrace? So we'll start with you, Baba.
I will say before I came to the UAE, before I met Jamaicans, before I met my wife, back home we are very fond with Rastafarian. Maybe it's a world thing, but in Cameroon, from where I come from, we love reggae music. Because of reggae, because of ganja, we love Jamaica. Now I grew up in a little village where with my father, and as I said to my wife many times, my father they call him a ganja man because he smokes. And if he should play music, it has to be Bob Marley or Alpha Blondie or some reggae star. So growing up, it was like, I don't know, I already loved Jamaica before I left home. And so when I came and met my Jamaican queen, my Caribbean queen, you see, I fell so much in love with Jamaica. I just want to go to Jamaica. I want to become a Jamaican. And I remember my pastor was saying to me, that's not right. Instead, she has to be an African and come back to Africa, but it's like you are being converted to being a Jamaican. I just love Jamaica. Yeah, mostly the music. I'm in love with the music. I'm in love with music.
He knows even more of the lyrics of the Bob Marley lyrics than I know. It's amazing to just listen to what he knows. Mm.
Folks, I've heard me. You've probably, if you've watched any of the Jamaicans to the world, I've said it time and time again. Our African brothers and sisters
Telling you.
they know the songs. Peter Tosh, Bob Marley,
Yeah,
the Wailers. Just they have an appreciation that takes it to another level, and
yeah.
so that's totally amazing. But Alicia, on your side, tell us about the Cameroonian culture and what's the thing that you embrace and really love about that culture?
To be honest with you, I am so hungry to know more about Cameroon. My exposure to Cameroon is largely from what I explore on the internet. Sometimes when we were dating, when we were courting, um, he would WhatsApp me in French, and I would Google my response to get the translation and then send it back to him. And it was such a pleasure texting him in French. And I could always say, I have a Frenchman, even though he's from the English side of Cameroon. But the dichotomy and the dynamics that is involved with the French side, the English side, is something that I yearn to understand and I yearn to visit too. We've not visited each other's country. So also based on the fact that I'm originally a history teacher and I've always wanted to go to Africa and to connect. I'm very interested in going. I've been exposed to the food and
Which is where we're going next. Which
okay, okay, all right.
but you guys are ahead of me. But I'm hoping each of you get to visit, because that is quite an experience. Some places on the continent in the motherland, it will remind you of Jamaica, and some places in Jamaica, Baba, will remind you of the continent. So so food. Let's talk food. You know, what was your first reaction, Baba, to tasting Jamaican food, and then what's your favorite dish?
Mm. Well, the first, let me say, dumpling is something that I read in the books, in the novels, or saw in movie. I've never tasted dumpling as a Cameroonian. And she gave me the first soup that has dumpling and chickpeas and pumpkin and everything mixed.
Roly poly dumpling.
I was like,
Spinners. You give spinners.
Cameroon,
Spinners, yes, spinners.
everything was inside. In Cameroon we cook soup. Like if it's okra, it's just okra. Then we have something they call fufu. It's either pounded yam or pounded rice or cassava boiled and pounded. So you use it to eat the soup. But when she gave me the soup, I was hoping maybe something is coming, like to eat the soup. But the soup itself has everything. So when I started digging in and digging in and digging, I realized I saw chickpeas, I saw carrots, everything was just inside, and I was already satisfied. So yeah, my first experience was the soup that has everything. It was so nice for me. And then I've tried. Well, my favorite is steamed fish as of now. Jamaican steamed fish and crackers.
Hey,
And the sweetest part of it is that I prepared it myself.
Oh, you learned.
For the first time, I said, "Let me try," because she spoke about steamed fish, she spoke about this and that, and because I had all the ingredients, somebody from Jamaica gave us
crackers.
the crackers. So that day I wasn't working; she was at work, and I said to myself, "It's let me see what I can do." So I went to the super shop. I got the fish and the okra, the capsicum,
Tastes
everything.
nice.
And when I prepared that steamed fish in a Jamaican style, Lord have mercy.
Amen.
When I tried it, something that I prepared, I said, no, this is something else.
Yes,
It
yes.
was something else.
It was good. It was good.
It was something else.
It was good.
Trust me. So as of now, that's my favorite, but I think there is more to go because she wants me to have
Oxtail.
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 Oh, Baba not taste oxtail yet.
I
No, not
haven't.
yet, not yet. It's not readily available around the place, but it's coming. It's coming
Oh
in a few
man.
weeks. Yes, yes.
Oh
I'm,
man. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward.
So, Alicia, what was your experience first tasting Cameroon dishes, and what's your favorite?
Well, Xavier, like when Jamaicans are coming to Florida and you say, "Care one juicy beef for me," or "Care cane," make sure they have cane and bun and then things there. It's the same way they do it from Cameroon. If somebody's coming from Cameroon, they're taking stuff for him. And so the first time somebody came, they brought something that was wrapped up in, like dry banana leaf. So I was like, what is that? And it's long. And then he unwound it. Well, he heated it in the water and then he unwound it. I'm like, what is that? Look very glue and sticky. Guess what it is? Cassava. It's cassava. I don't know how they do it, but it has that chewy, chewy,
It's like a gummy.
gummy, very gummy. Like when you soak the bami, or yeah, or something like the blue draws. It have that appearance. And he shared that with me. He shared another thing that it's the fufu. Now I've seen that before, and I've been invited to eat, but just the way it looks, I don't want to eat it. When you put your hand in, and you dip it in the meat and the vegetable. Yes.
Vegetable. Uh-huh.
And I watched him one time and I'm like, and then he said tried it and I tried it. The vegetable part with the meat is very seasoned, so when you put the fufu in, it really is nice. And you spoke about cultural difference. I remember he eats with his hand, and I'm like, the food really look like it tastes better when you eat with your hand. But I can't come to just doing. I'll try it, but it's just not natural. And I was saying, if you do that in Jamaica, we're gonna slap you. That's not proper. You know what I mean? I said, don't come to Jamaica and do that. But then there's also another part of the culture where before you eat, there's a bowl that comes to you with water. So you must wash your hands, and then they give you soap. You wash it there, and you somebody pours the water on your hand and you dry it. And I was like, why people do that? Because I even went to Rwanda and they did the same thing. And I was saying, is it because they don't have toilets and so in or proper toilets? And he was saying, no,
It's respect.
it's just a mark of respect that they take the thing to you. You don't need to move. You wash your hands, you dry your hands, and then you dig in. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
Nice, nice. Yes, I've had my fufu and
Hey, yes.
How does it taste?
it tastes good. I'm just not disappointed. It's interesting that yellow yam is not
Mhm.
is not as what should I say, respected or popular on the continent like it is in the Caribbean or in Jamaica. And it's a white yam that's respected, and we love our yellow yam. White yam is like exactly. So I don't know if Baba has tried the yellow yam yet.
Not yet. No. You tried yellow yam?
Well, I think I have from Africa. Like you said, the white yam is popular. So because we can just roast it, we can boil it, just add salt, it's fine. We can pound it and make the fufu. So it's popular. But we have the yellow yam. It's not so popular, but I think I have
Well, when we
tried.
go to Jamaica, you'll taste the roasted yellow yam
Oh
because the
man.
roast.
I'm gonna see.
Oh yeah. Get with piece of roast saltfish. Oh man.
Yes, 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 yes. He's gonna enjoy it coming to Jamaica.
So
I think, yeah.
go ahead, Baba.
The thing about food with my wife is she's picky when it comes to food.
Yes.
So I can try all the Cameroonian dishes, but I know she's a bit picky because when we just get married and I started cooking, I realized that if she's there watching when I'm putting the spices and stuff that came from home, she's like, "What's that? What's that? What's that?" I don't want to try. So I knew that the secret will be just presenting the food. So most of the food that she had tried, I cook them when she's not around and I serve them. I wait until she's there. We had to eat together. So just try, just take just a piece, just a bite. And when she tries it, that's it.
And another thing about it is that, like when you're married, the idea of eating from one plate, and then he doesn't serve the food. Like in Jamaica, we serve one plate, and that's yours. Like it's a meal. Like everything is a feast. You have this plate with that and that and that. I'm not used to that. How I grew up, you just serve your food on your plate and you eat. But with him, it's always a belly full. Always more and more and more.
So Baba, which Jamaican slang do you find yourself using a lot?
Uh, when I think when we got married, that's when I learned that Jamaican music, like reggae music, they have the raw version and the filtered. So I think in Africa we've got the raw version. So learning the slang, singing the music is just raw. Now being a Christian woman and a Jamaican who understands the patois, she would tell me, no, no, you can't say that. She would say, no, don't say something like that. Don't say that. Don't say that. It's wrong. It's not good. But this is something I grew up just saying it, singing the music, just saying it, and with the Rastafarians who are around. So most of those languages, I can say them here. I try to get them off my system, and I think the only thing that I say most often is wagwan.
All right.
Yeah. The other ones,
Elisia, anything on your side that you find you picked up and say? Cameroon.
Well, usually I just know when he gets together with his friends who are Cameroonians, they speak French. And I'm like, you need to teach me more French because I can't decode what you're saying when you're talking with your friends. So basically, when they're talking their pidgin, I can pick up a few things, but I can't follow the conversation fully. So I don't know the phrases. Even though he's from the English region, they speak a lot of French.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
All right. So I know you both haven't taken each other to each other's countries yet, but Alicia, if there's one experience that you want Baba to have when he gets to Jamaica, what would that experience be? And then Baba, the same question will come back to you. If
Mhm.
you're to take Alicia to Cameroon, what's that one experience you want her to have? So we'll start with you, Alicia.
I want him to go on the beach in Montego Bay, and I want him to eat from the jerk pan. I want him to eat the jerk chicken, and I want to introduce him to juicy beef patties. Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Baba, on your side.
This is gonna be a little bit crazy for her to hear, but because she's very picky in terms of food, and she's a little bit you're afraid of animals. So that's one thing we're gonna visit. I will visit the zoo. We have some popular zoos that has the python, the chimpanzee, a lot of animals that she can see and feed. And I will take her to some places where people eat almost everything. Now, I know being who we are, there are a lot of things that we don't eat as Adventists, but in my where I grew up, my village, people just hunt and they eat everything from snake, from anything that falls on the trap, they eat. And she's like, really? And I was like, in Jamaica, you don't know people eat these things? No, she no, I don't know. So we're gonna visit the villages, like the country, and
Don't tell her
one of
what
the
it
things,
is. Just don't tell her what it is. Just
you
just
know,
say just say
we're gonna
try this.
yeah,
Try that.
yeah, we're gonna go there, and she's gonna see a lot of young boys with rasta, and they have the cap, and they're just using the slangs, singing reggae, and it's like Jamaica.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. So, Baba, if there is one Jamaican skill that you would like to master, would it be cooking, dancing, the language? What would that skill be?
Well, my favorite is the language. I love Patois. Well, mostly when Jamaicans are talking to Jamaicans. Yeah, there are a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Jamaicans in this country, and sometimes she invited me to meet some of them. Like there is an elderly gentleman in our church who is Jamaican with a wife. Sometimes he just loves to bring people together and Jamaican dishes, bring some Jamaican chef, and everybody's like, I'm from Montego Bay, I'm from St. James, I'm from like. So when I see them talking, mostly the chef, what's the name of the guy?
I don't remember.
Oh, when he speaks the patois, I'm just smiling from, you know. So I really want to go to Jamaica because I don't speak so much, but I know if I be among Jamaicans, oh my,
He said, he said, oh, Jamaicans can really talk.
they have the lyrics. Mostly the men, they have the lyrics. But also, I love cooking. So I really want to go to Jamaica. All the things that she's saying that I'm gonna try. Once I try them, that's it. When I come back, I have to prepare all of them.
Awesome. Alicia,
Yeah.
what's that one thing from Cameroon that or the Cameroon culture that you want to master?
My husband is the best storyteller. Now, again, as a history teacher, I've read it in the books. I've even taught kids about the oral tradition, about how culture was passed on by talking it out and storytelling and the Anansi stories and so. But when I first heard him tell me a story, and then I hear him telling children at church stories, and if he gets up to talk, you cannot imagine that he's that deep and the stories are real and it's just that skill even as a teacher I don't have it, but I'd love to be able to tell stories the way that he does.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing to hear how the story is passed down. And Nancy's in, this is me out of curiosity. Is Nancy in Cameroon?
No, not
Yeah,
named, not named, but the character in Jamaica, he's named that because of his stricter
Right,
characteristics.
right. Well,
And
it's
so,
Anansi in Ghana. You know, it is Anansi in Ghana. But I don't know
okay.
if Cameroon have a similar character that can be, that's almost like Anansi.
Hmm.
Uh,
I think we do. We do. In the whole of Africa, there's always somebody who has that similar character of
Anansi.
what you mentioned. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Of,
So we're gonna take just have some quick fun with some rapid fire questions, and what you're going to do is when I ask the question, you're going to point at either yourself or your spouse to answer the question. All right. So here
right.
here we go. Who spends the most money? Who falls asleep first? Who is most likely to stay up late watching TV? Who is more affectionate? Who is more friendly? Who is the social? Well, I kind of asked that who's the social, but who is the funny one? Who is the most stubborn? Who is the daredevil and will take chances?
The daredevil will take chances. Maybe me.
But you're not going to
Okay.
try. You're not going to try the food in your in the village.
Little, shwe, shwe, yes.
Who is a better driver?
Mm,
All right. So listen, guys. Thank you again for spending some time telling us about your journey in marriage. You from Jamaica, Elisia, Baba. You from Cameroon. What advice would you give to couples navigating cultural differences in their relationship and marriages?
Mhm. I would say definitely if you have God as at the center of the relationship, it can overcome anything. And especially if you recognize that the person that you love loves God, that means he's going to give you the allegiance that God requires the lover to give to the other one. And so we've had a lot of cultural differences. And as he mentioned, I am an outspoken person. I've learned all my life to stand up for my right, but because I know he loves me and because I know he's gentle and wants the best for me, I am perfectly happy to be quiet and submit because even though I'm not accustomed to it, when we have differences, even when we disagree, I know that at the end of the day, he has my back. And that
Awesome.
means the world to me. Yes.
All right. Any advice, Bella?
yeah. I would say marriage is it's a give and take. Oh, it's something that you have to make some sacrifice. When you're in a position to make sacrifice so that the other person feels better, gets better, then it's gonna work even if you have those differences, you know? Because even if you get married to somebody of the same culture, the same town, or you grew together, your primary school love or your secondary school, your college love, you need to make those sacrifices. If not, still there will be some differences. Still there will be some fighting. So yeah, for me, after God, you must be able to make some sacrifices
I
for your partner.
also want to say, and I think you'll agree with me, Baba, when we started courting, because of our age, we decided that we didn't want the boyfriend thing. We knew what we wanted, but we decided to go in with a therapist. So when we
Oh,
started seeing each other, we decided we wanted counseling because we don't want to waste each other's time. And I think it opened our minds to cultural
mm,
differences
mm,
too. So
mm.
when they came up, we were somewhat equipped to deal with it. We were somewhat expecting it. And so I would say when people are going to get married, especially if it's two different cultures,
That's right.
get a professional involved.
That's right.
Great, great, great advice. Again, thank you guys. Drop some wisdom here. I could listen to you all day and go on. So,
Thank you so much. And I'm so proud of Baba for contacting you because he didn't even discuss it with me. We've watched you together. We've watched you. There's even an episode with a lady in Cameroon,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was making him
Mm-hmm.
watch it. And I was so shocked when he said we're going on. I'm like,
that
And
"Are
she
Baba
tells everybody that yes, sir.
Baba is a man that
She tells everybody that
absolutely
I'm open in the
loves.
background.
He absolutely loves you. You can see
you
it.
yours?"
Look,
Yes,
Oh,
I
I'm
do. I do.
and
telling
I
and
do.
and you can see when he kind of contact me in the background to
you.
surprise
Yes,
you, to surprise
yes.
you. And so
Oh.
this is yeah, respect, my brother, respect, big ups, big ups. so, so here is how I end. you know
Okay.
uh, um Baba, you have heard Alicia say goodbye to her Jamaican friends, so I want you to tell me how you hear her say goodbye. And Alicia, I want you to tell me how you hear Baba say goodbye to his friends. So that is how we're gonna end. So we're gonna start with you, Baba. How the Jamaicans say bye bye?
Um, Trust me, my brother. Jamaicans, they mostly when Jamaicans they meet, oh, they can talk from today to tomorrow.
Postmortem. We love a thing called postmortem.
They can just from today till tomorrow. They keep talking and talking. And sometimes I just find my way. But which one is the most popular one?
Pick up yourself.
Pick up yourself. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Big up yourself.
yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Alicia, what you how do you hear Baba say goodbye?
Au revoir.
Au revoir. The French.
Yeah, the
Yes.
French.
All
Yes.
right.
The French.
Well, big up on yourself and au revoir.
Au revoir.
Merci, merci beaucoup.